All right, so we're going to talk about lidocaine infusion medication administration and the med math involved with this. So what I first need to know is a couple of things. I have a couple of equations I could use for med math administration. So I need to know which equation to use, and that I need to look at what my actual dose I'm trying to administer. So here we have the Massachusetts state protocols for me to reference, and in this case I have my lidocaine here at the bottom for ventricular tachycardia with pulses. Let's say I have successfully converted a dysrhythmia with a bolus of lidocaine. I might consider using lidocaine IV administration of infusion, and this is the critical part. Here is the dose: lidocaine 2 to 4 milligrams per minute. So my dose is 2 to 4 milligrams per minute, and I have to actually choose here. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to choose 2 milligrams per minute. Alrighty, so we'll do that. Erase that. So this is what my dose is going to be, 2 milligrams per minute. But you have 2, 3, or 4 to choose from. Now, the next thing that I need to know is I need to know my concentration. And in this case, lidocaine comes preloaded in bags, pre-mixed. So it is important that you check this very closely because different manufacturers might have different concentrations. In this case, I'm looking right here, and I see there's 2 grams of lidocaine in 500 milliliters of fluid. Now that is not helpful for me for my equation. So I got to make that more useful. In this case, I need to convert 2 grams into milligrams. So that's 2,000 milligrams per 500 mLs. I'm converting that because my dose is in milligrams. So I need my concentration to be in milligrams as well. Now, 2,000 milligrams in 500 mLs, if I divide that out, because concentration, I need it to be out of 1 ml, not 500. Concentration is important for me to figure out what amount of drug is in 1 milliliter of fluid. In this case, it's 4 milligrams of lidocaine in 1 milliliter of fluid. So I'll write out my concentration. Is 4 milligrams per ml, per milliliter. So now I have one more thing that I need to figure out. I have one more thing before I can actually do my med math on this for the equation. I need to know what my drip set is going to be. So because I'm using a sort of rate-based dose here of 2 to 4 milligrams per minute, I am going to use a medication administration set, which is a 60 GTTS per ml. So my drip set will be 60 per ml. So GTTS, you can literally swap that in for drips per milliliter. 1 milliliter is made up of 60 drips in this drip set. Now I have all my information. My dose is going to be 2 milligrams per minute, my concentration 4 milligrams per ml, and my drip set I'm going to use a 60 GTTS per ml. So I can plug in these numbers into my equation, and it's going to be my desired dose times my drip set over concentration. That's going to be the equation that's going to give me my GTTS per minute, my drips per minute. Alrighty, so when I plug in my numbers, I have 2 milligrams per minute times 60 GTTS per ml, and I'm going to put that over my concentration of, you can see here, 4 milligrams per ml. Now, going to take and do my math out on this, but first, what I can do is I can cross out a couple of my different, same like things on my equation. So milliliter and milliliter, milligram and milligram. And now I'm all set to do my actual equation. So I will do 2 times 60 is going to be 120 over 4. And I have my GTS per minute here And that's where I'm kind of getting those from. So that is going to equal 30 per minute. When I divide 120 by 4, it's going to equal 30 GTTS per minute. Alrighty, so that in itself is not very helpful for me in the back of the ambulance because I don't want to wait a full minute to be able to give my dose of medication. I probably have a sick patient if I'm administering lidocaine. So I want to make this a bit quicker. So I'll divide 30 by 60, and that's going to help me get to my actual drips per second, and that's going to be 0.5 GTTS per second. Again, not very helpful. I can't really measure out a half of a drip. So I will then convert that down again to make this easier into 1 GTTS or drips every 2 seconds. And that's going to be a manageable way of administering my lidocaine. So there it is. That's the way to administer lidocaine using my my equation to get to one drip per 2 seconds in a dose of 2 milligrams per minute with a concentration of 4 milligrams per ml.